Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to everyone in here and visiting with us online. I thought as we were driving up here that we'd get a respite from those awful sunny, warm spring days, but it looks like we may have to endure another one. So we'll soldier on. Thank you for joining us, and before we get started, we wanted to welcome any newcomers. Well, we would if we had one, but we don't, so we won't. And of course, we want to extend our warm thanks to everyone for your tithes, gifts, and offerings to our church community. The support is appreciated. We are blessed to have Linda McClanahan with us as our speaker today. Yay! As most of you know, she's a gifted artist, musician, and inspiring spiritual teacher. Long background in unity and in Eastern religions as well. And is speaking today on the Artful Life. Thank you so much for being with us. And thank you very much, Joel and Linda, for providing our wonderful music today. Yes. Okay, a few brief announcements for the good of the order. Lent class will start this Wednesday via Zoom and continue on once a week meetups until Easter. Tamara Leeper is the facilitator, and we have a sign-up sheet in the back table or contact via the website unitydelaware or ohio.org to ask to be put on the Zoom invite list. Any questions, please ask Tamara. And we've got a weekend or weekly yoga class Thursday at 1 in the fellowship hall with Yogi Tamara as well on a donation basis. And finally, again, Eddie Watkins Jr. and his partner Mariana Gabriella will be visiting us on March 9 and 10. He will be having a stop for him on his current Peace on Earth tour, and we'll have a concert here on the Saturday night, and then he will be providing the music and the message on Sunday the 10th. So we're looking forward to having that for sure. And now we'll begin with prayer. We're very inclusive of our prayers and unity, holding the highest in mind and heart for ourselves, each other, the communities, and the world. If you're joining us online, please remember you can always send a prayer request via our website, unitydelawareohio.org. Just use the prayer request tab at the top of the page. Now, Linda and Joel will lead us into a prayer with Blessing to the World by Karen Drucker.
It's a blessing to
all to close your eyes, take a comfortable seat, centered in your chair, breathing in and out. And I invite you to visualize a dark, starry night, a huge meadow. And in the middle of this meadow is a gigantic ancient tree, an oak. And you just stand there watching it. And then you're realizing it's alive and it knows that you are there. And it's ready to accept anything you have to give to it. A prayer of thanks, a petition, maybe comfort and loneliness. It stands there with you. It absorbs every negativity you want to get rid of, and it transforms it into something new and life-giving, cleansing, vitalizing, healing from this wise old tree. A meadow, a tree, and the moonlight. So just rest a few minutes and see what the tree has for you. And we give thanks. Amen. Well, we're coming up on Valentine's Day, so Joel and I are going to do our little love song here. I offer you my heart. God only knows it through. I'm gonna see it through. I offer you my heart. I bring myself to you.
I offer you my heart. I bring myself to you.
I offer you my heart. I bring myself to
you.
I offer you my heart, that I may join with you. Well, this is the high point of my week where I get to be turned on. Here we go. How about that? All righty then. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's always what?
That's
Let's
never
see
good.
here. This goes thusly. Oh, here it is. All right. All right, Michael, if I'm bad here, you can help me out. Okay.
That's
Is
good.
that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's always a privilege and a pleasure to be asked to speak at this church, so I really do thank you for that. Reverend Joanne suggested that I talk about art this morning, so I thought I would start out the way she does with 3 little kid jokes about art. So here's the first one. Which farm animal was also a famous painter? And I'm going to give you a little hint, and the hint is Vincent Van
Gogh.
Yay! Vincent Van Gogh. Next one's pretty. I didn't promise anything with this. The next one's just about as good. Which farm animal is a cubist artist? I can give you another hint. Cubist artist, farm animal.
Picasso.
That's right, Pablo Picasso. Anybody hear the one about the artist with a broken pencil? Me neither, but I heard it was pointless. So this is a different kind of talk for me, really. And it was really hard for me to write because art to me is so personal. I mean, I know that as an artist, we do something and then we share it with other people, but it's also a little bit a part of us. We want to keep it a little bit of a secret, like it's a secret baby that's just ours alone. So I'm a little bit coming out of the closet this morning. I'm going to share how I became an artist. I'm going to share the way I work, and I'm going to share some spiritual lessons that I've learned along the way. So the first thing is, how did I become an artist? And the answer is that I didn't really, because we all start out that way. Each and every one of us starts out as an artist. It's part of being a human. And anybody that has had children knows this to be true, right? You give a kid a blank piece of paper and a crayon, and off they go. They're in the zone. They make their thing, and they bring it to you, and they're so proud. Look what I made. And it doesn't matter what it looks like. They don't judge. And you can feel that in children's art, right? There's just this joy of manifestation, the joy of creation. The place where art comes from, I deduce from this, is a place that's freer and more basic and more essential than the so-called mature adult mind. It comes from what I would say is a pre-rational place, an open, flexible mind. The part of us really that I think is most in harmony with spirit, with our source, with the truth. And art is also the source of ourselves as an entire species, because one of the first things we ever did was paint on the cave walls. So we are creation, we are people, we are creatures who make things, and we always have been, and I hope we always will be. So being an artist is not something you become, it's something you already are. It's what makes us all human. But even so, as a young person, I always painted, I always drew, and I always thought of myself as a visual artist. But I got a chance to go to school, to go to music school, and when I got that chance, I jumped at it. And I studied classical music, which meant I took this really long detour away from art. And I learned many, many valuable lessons in music school. I learned how to appreciate beauty. I learned how to practice a long time. And I also learned that classical music was just not for me. So even though I graduated, I was terrible at it, which eroded my self-esteem. There was no childish joy in that pursuit. I experienced that whole time as just failure after failure after failure. I was so demoralized about my abilities when I left music school that I did not play the piano for 10 years.
Wow.
But life went on. You know, Joe and I married. We fixed up an old house. We planted a garden. I took up the accordion mainly because it's not the piano. And we started playing around town as a folk music duo. And these were all wonderful creative pursuits. But unfortunately for me, that sense of failure, of not measuring up, it just clung to me like a wet coat. And I longed to do something that I was really good at, but that also just belonged to me alone. Because in my mind, I had failed on my own, and I wanted to succeed the same way. So frankly, my mind devolved into a pretty bad state. And it's painful when you do not think well of yourself. It's really painful. And it's doubly painful and embarrassing if you spent quite a bit of time studying with spiritual teachers trying to get rid of it, and you still can't seem to get rid of it. You still can't seem to cure yourself of it. So I was on a trip to India when all this came to head. And I probably told this story before here, but I haven't told you all of it. So we were in India, we were worshiping at a Ganesh shrine, and Ganesh is the elephant-headed god, the remover of obstacles. I was worshiping in front of Ganesh when all of a sudden this electric lightning bolt seemed to just shoot out of the shrine, and it hit me square between the eyes, literally. And I got unaccountably happy, almost drunk. I was just sort of stumbling about as a result of this experience. And I thought, man, this is what the disciples must have had at Pentecost, and it was good stuff. So there we were. I'm just stumbling about, and I heard something inside of me. It wasn't exactly a voice, but it was something that spoke to me. And it said, you're not a failure. You just have to choose. If you want to be a musician, devote all of yourself to that and be a musician. If you want to be an artist, devote all of your energy into being an artist, and that'll happen for you. Just throw all your energy that way. But you have to choose. Because up until then, I'd always been something of a creative generalist. I would do a little art, do a little music, do a little writing, but I didn't settle on, I hadn't prioritized. I hadn't made anything number one. I was just generally creative. But this voice, it said, no. Maybe other people can do that, but not you. You have to choose. You have to tell what is on top, first, second, and third. And I immediately did choose, and I was so shocked by the answer. Because I chose art, it was just like that. So I got home, and I tried to follow the voice. I did put art on top. It was art, music, and writing. But there was no magic cure for that neurotic self-talk. It was still there. It hadn't budged one bit. And so it became very clear to me that I could not wait until I was all healed up to start. I had to start right now from where I was with that neurotic mind. So my mind wouldn't let me alone. So one of my first paintings that I did was depicted a lady playing the ukulele to a rooster. And the rooster was the noisy mind that I could not get rid of, couldn't shut up. And I thought, I can't get rid of you, but I could sing to you. I could say that you're valued and loved. I could quit resisting you. It's almost like singing a lullaby to a child to get them to go to sleep, right? I was singing to it. I let it know it was safe and honored. The next series of paintings I did were really along the same lines. I did a series of paintings of monkeys, and that's the monkey mind in Buddhism, right? It was the same idea. I cannot get you to quit from jumping all over the place, but I can send you a love letter with this painting. I can send this to you. I can send you a message that I'm not repressing you. I'm not pushing you away. I accept you. I accept all of myself. And that's when things started to get better in my mind. So I started to branch out. I started to branch out with other ideas. The first paintings I did were all about my meditation and prayer experiences. And I soon learned that nobody in this world cares anything about your prayer and meditation experiences. So I had to branch out as far as my subjects. So I branched out into the wider realm of the subconscious of my own mind. And that's what children do too. They paid mommy and daddy and flowers and houses because that's what's in their minds. But an adult mind is much, much bigger. I mean, we're all floating in this cosmic ocean of ideas. And it's vast, it's limitless. This ocean of possibility of creativity is an infinite source of creativity and power, and by definition, it can never be exhausted. So we're all floating in that, right? Just floating on our backs in this ocean of ideas. So in a practical way, as an artist, how are you going to get one idea out of that? And when I cannot get an idea, I do what I call my art meditation. And for me, the art meditation is a visualization where I visualize this dark, limitless sea. And I just put my hand across it like this. And I'm feeling sort of like bubbles of ideas coming up, like a carbonated drink, right? I keep doing that until I'll feel one of those bubbles burst with a jolt. It has to have an electric jolt. And when I feel that, I know that the deepest part of me wants to manifest that particular idea. When I get that jolt, I feel like I've been given an assignment. I take that idea as a gift and I work it out no matter what. And it can be a challenge to accept the idea no matter what, because frankly, some of the ideas are very strange. I mean, one of them that comes to mind is a naked lady riding a pregnant goat. But I did it. I worked it up. See, it didn't matter what I think of it. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks of it. What matters is that I took that idea, I accepted the assignment, and I finished it. I was faithful. And the last part of doing a piece like that is, I always try to exhibit it. I don't keep it just to myself. I don't throw it in the garage. And a lot of artists don't like that last part because, I don't know, they feel kind of shy or something. But I think it's part of the assignment. So I worked this way for a while until I had enough for a big show. And that led to a fellowship from the Greater Columbus Arts Council, and eventually that led to my being able to show at the Art Museum. So I've had some worldly successes. It took me a while to realize, though, that all along the way, art didn't just become something an assignment that I was given, it became my guru, it became my teacher. It became my meditation, my prayer. It really became everything. It's the tool that I use for reaching in the highest parts of my mind, and it's the tool that I use to reach down and heal the lowest parts. So if I have anger in my mind, I do not wish it away. I offer it a painting. If grief has overwhelmed my heart, I accept grief as part of the human condition. I give it a painting. If I'm resentful of certain people or situations, I sing to that part of myself with a painting. Now, for the record, those kinds of healing paintings, I try to keep on the small side. They're destinations. They're not destinations. They're it's like points along the way. But what's really strange is the weirder or the edgier paintings that I show are often the ones that people like the best, and they sell quicker. It's kind of funny. But maybe it's because when you release something in yourself, you help other people release that in themselves. Now, once you've been doing art as a daily practice for a while, you'll start to notice that your relationship to it changes. And the creative end of it, the creative idea part of it, that just sort of becomes of less and less importance. But the process of manifesting those ideas, the actual grunt work, the labor, that looms larger and larger and larger as a teacher. I really began focusing on literally on the actual labor, preparing the board, holding the brush in just the right way so that it got enough, the exact right pressure, keeping the paint thin to the exact right consistency, all the unsexy parts of art, right? But for me, they turned out to be the most valuable. And it reminded me, when I was in music school, when I was a very young person, I converted to Zen Buddhism. And the kind that I converted to, the meditation was just to count your breaths. That's it. The first day you sat down on the cushion, you were to count your breaths. And the last day you spent on the cushion, you'd be doing the same thing. It was the same thing over and over and over, no matter how long you meditated. But this sameness, this repetition year after year leads to enlightenment in that tradition. And I really do think it's the same with art, that doing the same thing over and over again, preparing that board, getting the idea, transferring the sketch to the board, your background painting, your foreground painting, your surface details, your corrections. Sign it, take it to the photographer, put it on the website, put it in an exhibit or store it away. That's it. That's the whole artist's journey. And you just do it over and over and over again. And that's the key. You're doing it over and over again. So what I've learned is that keeping the mind in one general place is inherently blissful. It takes away anxiety. And it's just as powerful as any Zen practice. And in fact, to me, it's the same as a Zen practice. The old yoga masters, the very first ones, yoga didn't start out as physical postures. It started out as a philosophy. And the old yoga guys defined yoga as stopping of the fluctuations of the mind. Yoga is stopping the fluctuations of the mind. And that's exactly what happens in art or in any focused activity that we undertake. Whether you're painting a mural or doing 1,000 refrigerator magnets like I did one time, you're still gathering the mind in one place. That's where all spiritual practice begins. Gathering the mind in one place. And if you believe the Zen people, that's where it ends too. So in a way, as I look back, my time in the practice room was millions of times more valuable than the recital at the end. Because the recital at the end really is nothing but a record of all this knowledge you gained in the practice room. We can make any focused activity our teacher. But if we make art our teacher, we will be taught in some specific ways. And I know this church has always attracted artists. This church is always full of artists of every description. But in art, as in any other spiritual training, we will begin, the teacher will begin by revealing to the student all their psychological weaknesses and lifting them up for healing and for transformation. So, are we inherently ambitious and afraid of the rejection? I'm here to tell you that most ambitions in art are unrealized, and rejection becomes your middle name. You really have to learn detachment if you're going to stick with it. Did we become an artist because we were afraid of people? Or we don't like people? Art will knock that out of you if you stick with it, because it's nothing but people. It's not that ideal of some guy in a garret, painting his masterpieces. No, it's a lot of being out in the world with people. Are we nervous about public speaking or being the center of attention? Just goes on and on. Art will really refine you if you let it. Our weaknesses, my weaknesses, have been lifted up and transformed into something new. So that's my life with the art guru. And I suppose it's been and continues to be a life of a little bit of courage, curiosity, and exploration. But I'm telling you, it's mostly labor. And I think it's really significant that in Jesus' parables, he's always talking about the workers, the laborers, laboring in the fields of the Lord. Art requires the same steps as any other spiritual path. But it asks a little bit more specific things from us. But the first is accepting ourselves for who and what we really are, not who we want to be. Choose a goal. Quiet the mind by focusing it on one thing. Dive deep into that ocean of ideas. Come up with one. And when you get one, accept it. That's your gift. Be free of attachments and judgment. Manifesting the idea and then sharing it with others. That's my artful life. But it's your life too. Because if there's anything I've learned in this process, it's there's no difference between ordinary life and spiritual life. I didn't need to go to India. I really didn't. There's no difference between ordinary life and spiritual life. They're one and the same. And it's work that teaches you, no matter what that work is. It's all in the doing. We all have an artful life just by virtue of being alive. I am the artist of my life. I am the artist of my life. Let's take that inwardly for a moment. And can we say it together? I am the artist of my life. I see that as being true for myself, and I see that as being true for each and every one who is here today or listening online. Amen to that. All right.
Okay, we're going to have a little fun now.
Yeah.
Little pre-Valentine's Day fun.
Now he's gonna make me move the camera
That's
down.
right. Y'all want to get on love mode? I do. I have a drink here. All righty then. You ready, Mr. Knapp?
Ready if you are.
Oh, I'm ready.
Exciting and new. We're expecting you and love. Life's sweetest reward. Let it flow. It floats back to you. The love boat. Soon we'll be making another run. The love boat promises something for everyone. Set a course for adventure, your mind on a new romance. And love won't hurt anymore. It's an open smile on a friendly shore. for everyone. Set a course for adventure, your mind on a new romance. And love won't hurt anymore. It's an open smile on a friendly shore. It's love. Welcome aboard, it's love.
Well, thanks for putting up with that.
Well, you know when something's just the right thing. And first of all, I'd like to thank Linda. That was the most interesting message I've heard in a long time. That was great. Thank you so much. If I was an artist, I felt myself transformed into one of Van Gogh's Starry Night paintings or something. And again, thank you both for Linda and Joel's beautiful music, the wonderful and the wacky. So thank you so much. Speaking of wacky, our AV wizard Michael, thank you so much for keeping us together. And for Candy and Barbie for providing what I surmise to be a Valentine's smorgasbord of treats. So thank you so much for quick recap. Lent classes on Wednesday via Zoom until Easter. Sign up at the back table or via our website. Weekly yoga, and don't forget Eddie Watkins. Mark your calendars for March 9 and 10. Any other announcements? Tammy.
I just wanted to mention that the message is letting go. So if you've ever wanted to release something, this is a 46-day or so kind of opportunity to do that. There's lots of things in the booklet about letting go. Pretty sure it'll touch something in you that will be a benefit for you to let go over these next few weeks.
Okay, that sounds great. Anything else? Let's circle up for our peace song. The wackiest circle they've ever possible.
No.
Bombus or something.
Friends.
You got it? Here we go.
protects us, and the presence presence of God watches over us wherever